Good morning, guys. Well, now it's, afternoon? It's a little after noon. And I'm on my way to band practice. And then I gotta hit the gym, leg day today. And then, when I'm there, I'm gonna get changed because I'm going to another photo shoot. But this time, it's for a different choir. It's for Vandeka, which is a choir that I'm with a bunch of my friends who had already graduated university. And they set up this little choir. It's quite literally a little choir. It's like 12 people. And yeah, that's going to be today. And what's awesome is that today, one of my best friends from my old BC Boys choir days, Eric, is actually auditioning for Vandeka today. And I really hope it goes well because it would be awesome to have him in the choir. He's a really good guy. He's a great tenor. So, although technically he's a baritone, but he does have the range for a tenor. And this is probably not making a whole lot of sense to like half of you. I don't even know. I'm really excited to see whether or not he does get in, because if he does, it's going to be awesome. Because then not only will my girlfriend be in it with me, but also one of my best friends. Actually, a lot of them are my friends anyway, so it's all pretty good anyway. I'm just really hoping he gets in, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm an idiot. I left my gym stuff at home, so now I gotta go back from band practice to the house to go pick up my gym stuff, and then I gotta go back to the gym. But I guess it's kind of better that way anyway, because now I can drop off my guitar and my amp back at the house, and that way I actually have space for my girlfriend to sit in the actual passenger seat, because I don't know if you can see this, but my amp is currently taking up the entirety of the passenger seat. That way, once I drop it back at the house, I'll be able to actually, have her in the passenger seat. I've started noticing that this whole vlogging thing is actually becoming a lot easier now. I'm getting more used to it. I guess it's just because I've been doing it for almost 12 days. I think today is day 12. And it's one of those things where you kind of get into the habit of doing it, and I get weird looks, and I'm sure every other vlogger started off this way, getting weird looks from people because you're pointing a camera at your face and you're just talking to a camera. But I think it's becoming easier now because of the fact that I know that people are watching. I know some of my friends are actually watching this, and it's a little weird to me, but at the same time, it's like I know I'm actually talking to someone, and so it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself anymore. So I'm just expecting that within the next few days, and hopefully within the next few weeks even, it's going to get even easier and easier. And who knows? Maybe my viewership will. Who knows? Maybe it'll grow by then. I don't know. I know it's not going to happen overnight, and that's not why I'm doing this. Like I said at the beginning, I'm doing this to document my life. The whole final year of going to school at Capilano, and I'm holding firm to that, and that's exactly why I'm doing this. It's one of those things where it's like, if I can talk to more people, I love talking to people, so if I can end up talking to, more and more people, then, it kind of legitimizes this. But of course in my head, it's still kind of like, I can look back in a few years and be like, hey, so that's what I was doing my last year of, university, before I moved on to, bigger and better things. So I finally decided to get off my butt and, actually leave for the gym. It's a real problem when you're on Facebook. Facebook tends to do that kind of thing too. But I'm finally heading out. It's not I'm making it seem later than it is, but it's really not that late. I'll be able to get in a full workout before I have to go to choir. Choir's not till 8, so I'll be fine. So here's a funny thing. I just watched the trailer for Breaking Dawn for the new Twilight movie, and I'm completely outspoken about the fact that I despise the Twilight series and everything it stands for. I think it's a terribly written book series that holds no real moral or merit value at all in literature. So I watched the Breaking Dawn Part 2 trailer, which already I think is a stupid thing that they split the movie anyway. It's definitely not a movie that needs to be split. But just watched it and I was like, you know what? It doesn't look too bad. Mainly because, actually, you know what? The only reason why I thought it looked good was because of the final fight scene at the very end. Which is funny, because in the book, there is no real fight scene at the end. There's a few, yes, I've read the whole series, which is why I can fully say that, you know, the whole series is terrible. But at the end of the book, when there's this big fight scene, you know, I'm not even going to call spoiler alert. I don't care if you know. There's a big fight scene at the end because of this huge issue that, you know, like Edward and Bella made a baby, and apparently it was illegal because Bella was human, and so it's a half human, half vampire thing. And so now the Volturi are all like, oh yeah, that shit can't go down. And so now what they're doing is they're coming to come and essentially, you know, destroy the child. At the end of the book, when they're supposed, you know, when they're having the confrontation, there's a couple things, you know, that happen. You know, there's a couple attacks, you know, small little ones, but nothing really major. And then at the end, when you think there's going to be this big fight scene, you know, like everything is building up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, you know, all the vampires and the werewolves are going to fight, and it's going to be this huge scene, it's going to be awesome. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. There is no fight. There is no there's nothing. It's all just like one of the characters just talks to Edward, or like does that weird thing where he can read Edward's mind or some weird shit, and realizes, oh, you know, everything's okay. Or it's like, what is it? It's like some other half human, half vampire thing turns up, and it's like, yeah, you know, I'm the same thing, and you know, I ended up, you know, working out, and everything worked out with me, and the Volturi is like, oh, well, you know, okay, well, we'll let this fly or whatever. And it's like, are you kidding me? It was the biggest letdown ever. Oh my god, I was like, are you serious? You built up this big thing where it's going to be, you know, this huge confrontation because of, you know, the moral values of, you know, a family and what makes a family and all this other stuff, and you give me nothing? And I'm like, yeah. So that kind of cemented it for me. I mean, already the book was terribly written anyway, but then this happens, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no. But the funny thing is that in the movie, at least it looks like, I'm not too sure, but it looks like this confrontation that's what's supposed to happen actually happens. So, you know, it's going to be one of those cases where the movie is going to be better than the book, which, you know, considering the Twilight series, isn't that difficult. Alright, so good gym day today, good leg day. Funny thing happened, over the radio in the locker room, Black Sabbath's Iron Man came on the radio, and the guy was also getting changed. He's like, man, Deep Purple, haven't heard that in a while. I'm like, it's not Deep Purple, dude. That's definitely Black Sabbath. Derp. But, yeah, so that was funny. Oh, and one more thing. I checked in my bag to look for my change of clothes, and the one thing I forgot was my shoes. So I don't have black shoes. That's awesome. So I'm gonna have to wear socks. So, oops. Okay, back from band practice. Choir practice. Derp. Here at this really awesome place called The Foundation. They serve the best nachos ever. They're huge. I'll show you guys later.
All
yeah.
run by skaters.
And, you know, Tammy and I are hungry, so figure we're gonna grab a bite to eat. Okay, so this is what we're about to eat. That, okay? Put your arm next to it, like.
That's my hand.
That's her hand.
I have relatively large hands.
Like, that's my forearm. Okay? This thing is bigger. This thing is bigger
than our forearms.
We did it. Alright, you guys, time for bed. I'm gonna get ready. Take my eyes out, aka contact lenses. I'm gonna take those out. I'm gonna take my nighttime protein and brush my teeth, floss, do that whole thing. Whole workout. See, I'm tired. Anyway, alright, well, have a good night.